When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
This episode is brought to you by Microsoft Azure. Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Get everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments, scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Discover what you can create with popular services free for 12 months. Learn more at azure.com. That's AZURE.com. And sign up for a free account to start building in the cloud today.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Thursday after Liverpool 5, West Ham United 1 in the EFL Cup. The Reds with a comprehensive victory that was made all the sweeter by all of the West Ham tears in the aftermath. So Liverpool go 1-0 down. A Jarrell Quansah own goal. It's a little bit unfortunate for a bunch of different players. So Kilman manages to win a header off a corner. The ball drops to a West Ham player. Conor Bradley does brilliantly to slide in, get a bit of a block tackle, and the ball kind of pinballs a little bit. Endo tries to clear it, and unfortunately he clears it against Quansah, and it ends up in the back of the net. On 25 minutes, Liverpool were level. Cody Gakpo sent free down the left. He picked out Federico Chiesa with a really good cross. Chiesa on the volley puts the ball down into the ground as you're taught how to do. It bounces up, and Diogo Jota manages to outjump Fabianski, get a flick on it, and put it in the back of the net for 1-1. So this was part one of the West Ham cry fest. They felt like Gakpo was offside when the ball was played through to him, and possibly he was. It's possible that he was, but there's no VAR in the EFL Cup, so who really cares? We go on to half-time into the second half. Lovely bit of work by Curtis Jones, feeds the ball through to Diogo Jota, and he finishes well to make it 2-1. And it seemed like the game was kind of going to play out like that. Now, they had a few... what they were claiming were penalty shouts for the ball hitting players in the abdomen and stuff. But then on 74 minutes, Mo Salah, who'd come off the bench, picks out Bradley with a lovely pass. Bradley pulls the ball back for Alexis McAllister. His shot is saved by Fabianski, but Salah, following up brilliantly, rattles the ball home and makes it 3-1. And 2 minutes later, Edson Alvarez is sent off. And there can be no complaints about this sending off. He'd already been booked. He slides in late on Salah, catches him on the foot. There's no question it's a yellow card, and off he goes. And again, it just appeared like that's how the game would finish. But then Cody Gakpo decided he wasn't having it. 90 minutes, good 1-2 with Darwin. Great finish by Gakpo. Beautiful strike of the ball. And then 93 minutes, it's a second for Gakpo. This one is not so clean a strike, but it hits Todibo, deflects into the far corner, sending Fabianski the wrong way. And it's 5-1. And the West Ham tiers are at risk of leaving Anfield flooded and waterlogged. Lopetegui afterwards, who, let's be honest, Lopetegui doesn't look like a fella who wants to be at West Ham right now, does he? He doesn't look at all happy with how life is going for him. It should be pointed out that last night West Ham lined up with a centre-back pairing that's ultimately going to cost them in the region of about 75 million. Now, I think Todibo's really good, but he didn't play well at all last night. It was, I think, his first start for them this season, so he's clearly not up to speed. Kilman at 40 million. He's a good centre-back, but he's not a 40 million centre-back. Like 25 to 30, and you'd be fine. You know, you'd be happy with Max Kilman. 40, and you'd really be asking questions. Like they had a lot of money on the pitch last night. Now, we did as well, obviously. We lined up with Kelleher in goal, Academy. Bradley at right back, Academy. Kwanzaa at centre-back, Academy. Gomez at centre-back, 7 million. Costas at left-back, I want to say 10.5. Endo, I think 16. Curtis was Academy. Chiesa was 10 million. I think Jota was 41 all in. Gakpo, I think, is 37 plus add-ons, but I'm not sure what the add-ons are. I could be wrong on that fee. And Darwin, obviously, 65 plus add-ons. So, we did have some money on the pitch, but we had a lot of academy graduates there. 4 academy graduates start the game. Whereas with them, not a single academy player featuring in the EFL Cup. And West Ham, obviously, noted for their academy. It's just very disappointing to see. Soufal, I think, was 5. Like I say, the centre-back pairing will cost ultimately about 75. Can't remember what they paid for Cresswell. Whatever it was probably too much. They paid about 30 for Alvarez. I think about 15 or 16 for Souček. Bowen was the better part of 20. Solera's there on loan. Not sure why they played him as a 10. He hasn't really been a 10 in a long time. Not sure why Alvarez needed to play. Now you've just lost him for a league game. Somerville, I think, was 30 in the summer, and Danny Ings, I think they paid 20 million for. And then coming off the bench for him, they bring on Paqueta, Kudus, Mikel Antonio, Andy Irving. Not a single academy player. Even look at the players that didn't play. Mavropanos, Fotheringham, Guido Rodriguez, Wan-Bissaka, and Emerson Palmieri. West Ham have come into that game with not one single academy player in their 20-man squad. We have 4 starting. Tyler Morton came off the bench. I would have liked to have seen him for a lot longer. I thought he looked pretty decent when he came on. Alexis, Mo, and Robbo also came on. We also had Yaros, who's an academy player, and Trent. That's 7 academy players in our matchday squad, and not one for them. And for me, the purpose of a competition like the EFL Cup should be to start blooding young players and getting young players minutes. And I don't know what the purpose of West Ham's plan was. Do they think that they have a chance of winning that competition before the game? I mean, it just seems really unusual to me that you wouldn't take the opportunity to bring some youngsters along, even on the bench. Like, even just to have a couple of them on the bench so that maybe mid-game you can throw one on. If the game is over, if you feel like you're going to lose, you throw a couple on for a bit of experience. You know, what's the loss on you? It is such a bizarre thing. Like, when we look at the West Ham senior squad, there's not one academy graduate in their squad. Really, really odd for West Ham United to not have an academy player. They paid $4 million in add-ons for Aaron Cresswell. Like, they've got such a great history of academy players. Rio Ferdinand, Frank Lampard, Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, Glenn Johnson, Anton Ferdinand, Declan Rice, James Tompkins, Jack Collison, Mark Noble. All of these players have come through their academy during the Premier League era. Many of them have made massive impacts on the Premier League. And yet there's not one academy player in their first team squad right now. But surely there was somebody, Kamari, Simon Sayer maybe, Ollie Scarles, Sean Moore, Caelan Casey. I think some of these have played some senior minutes, but surely some of them could be in the squad. Surely some of them could be taking up the odd bench role. Surely there's a goalkeeper somewhere that could be your third choice keeper. It's just very disappointing for West Ham United. They seem to have lost their way a little bit. I think there's a lot of talent in the squad. Like, I do think there's a good team at West Ham. Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman. They don't have a left back that I like, but I do like Areola, the keeper. Midfield, I don't really know. Alvarez for sure. Don't know who else you'd put next to him. I'm not a big fan of Souček. I think he's seen his best days, but like Guido's good. Guido Rodriguez is good, and Carlos Soler is a good player. So either of them next to Alvarez is a solid midfield. And then you've got tons of attacking talent. You've got Bowen, you've got Kudus, you've got Paqueta, you've got Somerville, you've got Fulkrug. There's a lot of talent there. You've got young Luis Guilherme, who, again, like, didn't even make the bench last night. Like, this is one of the biggest young talents in Brazil. You've paid a significant amount of money to sign him. He hasn't featured at all yet. I said when they signed him, he's a couple of years away from being ready to play regularly in the Premier League. But you should still be trying to get him minutes. And they just haven't bothered their arses. Haven't bothered their arses at all trying to get him minutes. Like, he should have been in the squad for last night.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Trust. Not everyone deserves it. Not everyone should have it. It needs to be earned. Your trust. And when it comes to accurate information about Ohio's safe and secure elections, where should you turn? VoteOhio.gov. VoteOhio.gov is the source for providing you with the facts and real information about elections. So no matter where you are, what you do, or who you choose, get the real facts about Ohio's elections. VoteOhio.gov, your trusted elections source. Sponsored by the Ohio Secretary of State, Frank LaRose.
Really, really unusual. Anyway, 5-1 to us. Good result. Happy with that. Can't complain at all. Arsenal also beat Bolton 5-1. Congrats to them, the team 19th in League One. That's a big win for Arsenal. We'll ignore the fact that they missed a sitter to begin and then had a Stonewall penalty denied. And of course, Arsenal fans who've taken the moral high ground after the weekend, where they've cried since the rightful sending off of Leandro Trossard, have had nothing to say about the fact that Bolton were denied a Stonewall penalty. The draw for the the round of 16 has been made. Preston will host Arsenal. Tottenham will host Manchester City. United will host Leicester. Newcastle or Wimbledon will host Chelsea. Aston Villa will hold Crystal Palace. Brentford will host Sheffield Wednesday. Southampton will host Stoke, and we will travel to Brighton. That game will be played, I believe, the 29th of October. It's not a bad draw. Certainly not an easy draw. I mean, Preston, United, Leicester, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, and Stoke would all have been easier, and to some extent significantly easier than Brighton, especially Brighton away. They've had a good start to the season. It feels like a game where they'll be bang up for it. But we'll see what happens when that game comes around. It may well be that we just decide to bin it off at that point. But last night was good. And shout out to Kostas Tsimikas, who he's just such a funny player. Like, there's moments where he looks really good and you think he could be our starting left back. And then there's moments where you watch him play and you think, like, what raffle has he won? How's he on the pitch? Like, when am I getting a goal? And last night he had moments of both, which is just tremendous. I think special mention on last night, though, to Cody, who was really, really good, as he was against Milan. As with Gravenberch, he just seems to finally be playing his size. Like, he feels stronger, he feels quicker, he's using his physicality, he's dominating the opponents. And he's the big thing with Cody, and I said this when we signed him, you watch Cody strike the ball, and it's a very consistent motion. It's a very consistent striking motion. Cody kicks the ball the same way almost every time. But it's a very long swing. Like, it's a very long action for him to strike the ball. So he needs to create separation. Cody can't get shots away or get his crosses in if he doesn't have separation. And last season, he really struggled to create that separation. This season, he seems to be doing it really, really well. So credit to him. And also Curtis. I thought Curtis was good last night. He obviously had a really good cameo at the weekend against Bournemouth, and I thought he followed that up with another good showing last night. So congrats to him. There's a piece here. Mo Salah is now nearing another ridiculous goal record few would expect. Let's see. Mo Salah now has the third most goals as a substitute of any player in Liverpool's history. So he has scored 14 off the bench. Bobby managed 16, and David Fairclough has 18. Now, Mo obviously isn't on the bench very often, but he's incredibly effective off the bench. Shout out to Brundish, who I thought was going to have an aneurysm when Mo came on, and then he scores. And, like, I understand where Simon's coming from, because I was like, why are we bringing Mo on? My assumption is Mo has just sat there from minute one asking, when am I going on? 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 And eventually he just wears the managers down, because he did it to Jurgen time and again. And I think he's doing it to Arnie already. He's just a pest asking when he can go on, because he just wants to play and he wants to score. A sensational individual. Absolutely sensational individual. What else did I want to touch on today? Oh, I owe an apology. And I should have started the show with this. I owe an apology to Roy Evans. Mr. Evans, I am incredibly apologetic over this. Yesterday, I categorised you as a terrible set of lads and said that you had lost to Northampton. Of course, I meant Roy Hodgson is a terrible set of lads, and Roy Hodgson lost to formidable Northampton. Roy Evans is a top-class individual, was a really good manager for us. And if the Champions League had been the way it is now, with 4 teams getting in, Roy would have had us in the Champions League, I think, pretty much every year, and would be viewed, he's already viewed favourably because he's like a club legend. You talk about a life dedicated to a club. That's basically Roy Evans in Liverpool. Player, coach, manager, all the rest, ambassador, the whole thing. Roy is, he's a diamond. I was fortunate enough to meet him a couple of times years back, and a nicer man you just couldn't meet. And you can even see it with his kids. They're all over social media, and they're such nice people. They've got time for a chat, and they're always, thrilled when someone compliments their dad. So, yeah, Roy Evans, definitely not a terrible set of lads. Roy Hodgson, absolutely a terrible set of lads. Liverpool to play Brighton twice in 4 days. Yeah, so we'll play them in the league and in the cup within a couple of days of each other. If we, of course, have to pick one to win, I think we'd all pick to win the league game, because I do think it matters most. We play Arsenal away in the league, then we play Brighton away in the cup, and then it's Brighton home in the league a couple of days after that. So, yeah, the cup is the one that might have to fall by the wayside. It's the 29th and 30th for the 4th round, or the last 16. The 17th and 18th for the quarterfinals. The semi-final first leg is 17th and 18th of December, I should say. The semi-final first leg is the 7th and 8th of January. The semi-final second leg is the 4th and 5th of February. And the final is Sunday, March the 16th. And I really don't want us involved, to be honest. I'd rather we focus on the league. I think the league is winnable given the Rodri injury. As long as we go and address our issues in January, I think we can win the league. So I'd very much like us to focus on that and try, because City without Rodri, I mean, it's not quite Liverpool without Van Dijk, because they haven't lost their equivalent to Gomez and Matip as well. Like, I saw someone make this point the other day, but is it the same thing? Will they fall apart like Liverpool did? And I was like, no, because they're still going to have Gundogan, Kovacic, Nunes. They still have senior midfielders. If Bernardo Silva, they still have senior midfielders available to them. They can recall Calvin Phillips in January if they feel the need to. They can recall Maximo Perone if they feel the need to. We could not do any of that. So, no, it's not the same. AnfieldIndex.com, then there is a piece on Arne's attacking selection dilemma. All our attackers, like Jota, I wouldn't say is in form, but he scores twice last night and plays well. So maybe this is him rediscovering form. Darwin, I think, is playing quite well. Cody's playing very well. Diaz is playing brilliantly. Chiesa looks sharp, and Mo is Mo, and has 8 goal contributions already, which is the most he's had at this point of a season since joining the club. So that's a bit scary for the rest of the league, that all our attackers are playing well. There's a piece about a report suggesting we are set for transfer battle with PSG over Joshua Kimmich. I can't see any world in which we have any interest in signing Joshua Kimmich. Arne Slot backs Liverpool forward. That is about Darwin. There's a piece about Diogo Jota and Curtis Jones in the post-match yesterday. Piece about Jota's goal celebration. And then podcast-wise, there is the post-match press conference. There's the David Lynch podcast post-game. And then there is post-match Raw, which is Guy Drinkle with Jim Boardman and Carol Matchett, myself and Trev. We'll come and glory hunt for the final of the Cup, maybe, if we get there. But otherwise, I don't think we'll be doing EFL Cup games this year or FA Cup games. Guy likes to take care of them. So we'll be back for the weekend, though. Right, that's it from me today, folks. If I sounded a bit weird, I've had a bit of a weird day. I don't feel particularly well. So I will speak to you all tomorrow. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.